Hey guys, it's Scott with Scotty B Cards. In this video today, I want to discuss the 2021 baseball rookie class and whether it's the worst class of the last 10 years. Okay, so I just want to talk about this class. This has been a really interesting class. Usually there's a top dog or two players that are really duking it out for best rookie. 2017 you had Aaron Judge and Cody Bellinger. 2018 you had Acuna and Soto. 2019 you had Tatis and maybe Vlad, Eloy, Pete Alonso. All those players were good. And then 2020 was okay. We had some good rookies like Kyle Lewis and Luis Robert and some other good rookies like Yordan Alvarez. But this year has been a little confusing. There's nobody that's really been that impressive. And we do know that the players that were supposed to be good, like Joe Adell, Jared Kelenic, and others, haven't really performed to their best ability. So what I want to do is dive into some of the stats and also look at the past 10 years and discuss whether or not this is truly the worst rookie class of the last 10 years. Okay, so here is the total amount of WAR for each rookie. As you can see over here on the left, it says years 3-2, 3-2, 1-1-1. That just means that these players have that many years in the big leagues. These players still may hold their rookie eligibility because if they don't play a certain number of games, they don't lose it. So technically, Randy Arozarena is a rookie this year, even though he had that fantastic postseason last year. He still hasn't lost his rookie eligibility. What this shows essentially is all the stats over that full 3 years. This is not just the 2021 season, but as you can see, Randy Arozarena has 3.2 WAR over the last 3 years, and that's the top rookie. Ke'Bryan Hayes is next with 3.2, and so forth. This year, Ke'Bryan Hayes is actually having a really rough year. I think it's like a 750 OPS, and he has like about 1.3, 1.4 WAR. So nothing too impressive compared to where he was last year. The other players, Adolis Garcia, he's old. Nick Madrigal probably is one of the best rookies. He has a really great hit tool. As you can see, 317 batting average, but a low OPS just because he doesn't slug very much. He's a singles hitter, maybe a doubles hitter in the gap. That type of a player. The power may develop, but we can't guarantee that. There's no point in speculating on that. But overall, you'll see there's not an OPS over 900. The highest is Ke'Bryan Hayes, and that's inflated from last year. You have barely any players over 800. Jonathan India, he plays in Cincinnati, which helps his numbers a little bit. I am a Rockies fan. I hear that all the time, so I can say it to somebody else for once. But regardless, I think his OPS plus before I looked is about 115. So there's not really any players that are really standing out. There are some players that aren't quite in the checklist yet. Like Taylor Walls might be in 2022 Series 1. He might be in 2021 update. We don't really know yet. There's other players like Andrew Vaughn who might be in update, might be in the next year's class, and Wander Franco who for sure will be in next year's class, which make this rookie class even more confusing. So that's the hitters. Here are the pitchers. Ian Anderson's not really a rookie this year. His cards are from last year. Trevor Rogers has been amazing. He's been a fantastic pitcher, probably one of the best rookies in all this year, to be honest. Luis Garcia is good. Casey Mize is good. But other than that, it also drops off pretty well. And after that, it's tough to say who is going to be the best player to pick up. Pitchers are really hard to guess on anyways. It's more of a guess than an investment, in my opinion, with pitchers. Very infrequently are pitchers actually worth much, and so it's hard to want to go buy a really expensive parallel of these players. So here's some players that I think may be worth buying from this class. Very first is Joe Adell. The thing with Joe Adell, he hasn't really played since 2020, and he was really bad in 2020. You know, he has a really high ceiling, but he's not getting any younger. He's actually getting older. He'll be probably age 23 next year, and basically not his rookie year, but his second year. And at that point, it'll be a little bit harder to make the Hall of Fame. Not saying he will, but the later you debut, the harder it is to get to that level where investment quality long-term is really worth it. Then you have Jake Cronenworth, who's been awesome, but he is 28 years old, but he's probably been the best rookie this year, in my opinion, if we're looking at rookies. He lost his rookie eligibility, but he's still a rookie according to Topps. Ke'Bryan Hayes, he has shown flashes of excellence, but really isn't having a great 2021. Dylan Carlson, he's awesome for the Cardinals. Great defender, but he's never really had a great OPS. He could develop into that type of player, be a low 800s, mid 800s OPS guy. His minor league total OPS is a 781. That's pretty close to where he's at right now. After that, you have Andrew Vaughn. He's a top prospect, a lot of upside. He may be someone who carries the 2022 Topps update set if he's in it. Jared Kelenic, I think he probably has the highest ceiling of all of these players, but he just hasn't put it together. Struggled in the big leagues, they sent him down, then they called him back up just barely, and he's still not hitting. He kills it in AAA, but in the big leagues, I don't know if it's nerves or what it is, but he hasn't been great. He is the player. Him and Joe Adell are the ones, maybe Dylan Carlson, are the ones that I think could really carry this class and make it good, but right now it's looking pretty grim. For pitchers, we have Trevor Rogers. He's 23, great potential, but he was just put on the IL. I don't know how serious it is, but it's still something to be concerned about. You have Casey Mize, who has a really high ceiling, but hasn't been amazing. He has like a mid-3 ERA, I think a 3.6 or 7, and he looks good, but he's a 5-5 record, not super important. I know people don't love pitcher wins, but regardless, he's been good, but not fantastic like you would expect from one of the top overall picks. Then you have Luis Garcia, who is for the Astros. Excellent player, but I'm not really sure how I feel about him yet. I haven't watched him enough to make a real evaluation, but I know that he has pitched well, so he may be one of the best pitchers in this class. Okay, let's look at the last 10 years and discuss where this sits. This is 2011, one of the best rookie sets of all time. You have Mike Trout, who's a guaranteed Hall of Famer, and then you have 3 or 4 other players who could make the Hall of Fame. Altuve, I know people don't like Altuve, but he could make the Hall of Fame. He could get 3,000 hits, and he's only 30 years old, I think maybe 31. Freddie Freeman for the Braves, awesome player. Chris Sale, he has like 2,200 strikeouts, so he's probably going to reach 3,000 pretty easily at age 31 right now with like 45 WAR. Then you have Rizzo, who's been great with the Cubs, around 35 WAR. Paul Goldschmidt has about 47 WAR. JD Martinez has been a slugger. You get the point. A lot of great players from this class. 2012 is probably one of the weakest that we've had over the last not just 10 years, but even further. You have Bryce Harper, who in my opinion is going to make the Hall of Fame. He's on that path, but he may not. He may fall off the face of the earth and not make it, but he could get there. He's only 28, has about 38 WAR right now, and he has potential to get to the 500 home run club, which would basically cement him there. Trevor Bauer, he was good until, stuff happened just barely. So you get it. Starling Marte is the next best, I would say, and he's not that great, and neither is Yoenis Cespedes. For a while, he looked really good, and now he's really out of the league because of a bunch of random stuff. So 2012 is a really weak class as well, and I think this may end up what 2021 is also going to end up like. It probably will have more depth, but there's not really a Bryce Harper that I see in this set. Maybe Kalenic, maybe Joe Adell, but that's tough to say. 2013 was a good class. You have probably 2 Hall of Famers, maybe 4. I would say Nolan Arenado and Machado are on that Hall of Fame path. Again, it's too early to tell with a lot of these players, but I'm just estimating based off of their current performance and what I'm projecting. Then you have Christian Yelich, who could get there, but he's kind of fallen off the face of the earth the last 2 years after he broke his kneecap with a foul ball. Garrett Cole is good, but not as good without spider tack. No offense, Garrett Cole. And then you have Jose Fernandez, who was amazing before he had that boating accident and tragically passed away. Rendon has been terrible with the Angels. I don't know what's going on there. 2014, this is a great class, and it's really shaping up to be a great class. You have 2 basic Hall of Famers right here, Mookie Betts and Jacob deGrom. Then after that, like Jose Ramirez could get there. He's at 30 WAR at age 28 or 29, so he could get there. I'm not saying he's going to. These 2 are the ones I really believe. I don't think anyone else will, but some of these players could get there. Xander Bogaerts has been great. Xander Bogaerts is amazing the last few years offensively, and he's okay defensively. Marcus Semien is nothing to sneeze at. I think he's like a 27, 28 WAR player so far in his career. You wouldn't want to invest in him, but at least it's depth in this rookie class. George Springer has been one of the most dominant postseason players of all time. That may be due to some trash cans. I don't think it is. I think he's just a good player, if I'm being honest. So you're welcome, Astros fans. I think George Springer was good without trash cans. Jose Abreu, he came over old from Cuba, but is still a good player with an MVP. 2015, also a shallow class, but a lot of upside in these players. Chris Bryant's good. Won an MVP, won a Rookie of the Year. Carlos Correa, he's good. He's been in the top 5 MVP a few times, been a really dominant player. If you look at his stats, you'd be surprised how good he actually is. Francisco Lindor has been really good basically until the last year and a half. Before that, he was looking like the best shortstop in baseball, and he could get back to that point. Byron Buxton, what a depth piece he is. This has like Noah Syndergaard, Joey Gallo, a bunch of other players are also in this 2015 set. I just didn't put him up. But regardless, Byron Buxton could also come back and be a dominant player. 2016 is a really heavy shortstop class with a few good pitchers. 2016 has Clevenger. I didn't put him on here, but you have Aaron Nola, Trevor Story, Tim Anderson, Corey Seager, Trey Turner. A lot of depth, a lot of great players there. None of these guys will probably make the Hall of Fame, but Trey Turner, all of them have a chance. All of them could get there, but they have to have a really dominant mid-30s, and that's going to be tough for any shortstop with the way these guys play. Corey Seager has the highest ceiling, I would say. Maybe Trey Turner, actually, at this point. He's really put it together offensively. But Corey Seager's just always hurt, so that's always tough. In 2017, you have an MVP and 2 runners-up for MVP. Yohan Moncada has huge upside. Matt Chapman's one of the best defensive players of all time. So this class even has some depth. I would say that this is better than the 2021 set. People were saying that this set is worse. I asked on Instagram what people thought was the worst set. Here are the answers outside of 2021. I asked from 2015 on, so that's why you don't see 2012 on there. But regardless, they said this is a worse set than 2021, and I would actually argue the opposite. This set has so much more firepower. When this came out, people were chasing Judge like crazy, and Bellinger. Both of these players set the home run records. He did for the American League, he did for the National League, and it was awesome. Obviously, Cody Bellinger has been hurt and not great all of a sudden, and same with Aaron Judge. He's actually having a really good year, but a lot of injuries. Alex Bregman ran up to Mike Trout in the MVP voting in 2019 and had probably a better year than Mike Trout if you look at the numbers. And so it's hard for me to say that this is a worse class. Then you have 2018, which is probably the best class we've had since 2011. You have Acuna, Soto, Ohtani, Torres. Torres, I know he's not really playing great, but he still has 2 All-Stars right now at the age of 22 or 23. He could easily figure it out and be a good player again. Shane Bieber, one of the most dominant pitchers in baseball, on the IL. And then you have Ozzie Albies, Rafael Devers, who's putting it together, Walker Buehler, and even Austin Meadows. I didn't include Jack Flaherty and other great players on this list as well. This is one of the best classes we've had, and a lot of us did take advantage of it. Some of us did, and congratulations to you. 2019 was also a good class. You have Tatis, Eloy Jimenez, Pete Alonso, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Will Smith. You had other great players in 2019, but these are the big 5, I would say. 2020 it was probably pretty comparable to this year, but Bo Bichette is actually having a great year. Around 3 WAR so far this year. Yordan Alvarez is slugging like crazy this year. Luis Roberts back off the IL. Randy is the best rookie this year, and he's in 2020. And then you have Nico Horner, who's looking great defensively at second base and also hitting relatively well. Kyle Lewis hasn't been the same guy, and you have depth in like Trent Grisham. And then we have 2021. Here is the players. So here is the class again for 2021. It's hard for me to put this class above any other classes besides maybe 2012 and 2016. You could argue 15, but 15 has so much depth and a lot of great players that come out of it. This is going to be a really interesting one to watch. I cannot see the future, so it's tough for me to say this is the worst class of the last decade. But I think it's in the bottom 3 right now, and it has potential to get to maybe the 5th worst. But it's not a great investing class. It sucks that Topps pulled out some of the top guys like Franco, but it is what it is. Sometimes there's weaker classes, and there will be a player that comes out of this, whether it's Andrew Vaughn or Jared Kelenic or Joe Adell, that is going to be good, that's going to drive prices up. So if there's a guy you believe in, maybe buy some of their cards, maybe make a small investment just because of the fact that it's not very expensive, and there's a lot of upside because you can get a lot of great cards for pretty cheap. So anyways, guys, let me know down in the comments below. I don't have a final answer what I think is the worst or the best. I think this is a bottom 3, probably behind 2012 and maybe before 2016, probably behind 2016 even. So bottom 1 or 2. Let me know down in the comments below where you think this belongs in the last 10 years, and if there's any players I didn't discuss that you're buying. I'm happy to hear what others think, and I want to hear what others think. So I appreciate you guys watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.